Do you say your name Liana? Lena? You're muted. Here, I'll ask to unmute you. There we go. I was trying to read your lips.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
I can now.
Ileana.
Ileana. Well, wonderful. Thanks for coming, Ileana. My name's John.
Hi, John.
I will change my my label here so you don't have to remember it. You can see it. There we go. Cool. Glad you came. So how are you connected to Sobe?
My friend's daughter goes to Sobe.
Very cool. Did they just invite you through a text, or have you been? Did you hear about our experience? And
no, they just invited me.
Okay. Well, we're really glad that you showed up, and early too. Love punctuality.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Welcome, Claudia. Happy Wednesday.
Hi, happy Wednesday.
We're so glad you guys came. So let's see, I'm looking on my list here. Claudia, so you are also a Sobe supporter, huh?
Yes, yes.
Super cool. Do you guys know each other?
No.
No, I do not.
Hi, Claudia.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm Ileana.
Okay.
We've had a ton of people supporting Sobe come through. Do you guys know what they're raising funds for?
I forget. I think she told me, but I forget.
I think it's for the playground. They want to come up with like a sports area for the kids where it's all inclusive.
Yes, it's going to be like the playground of our dreams. So
yeah,
just a really cool like multi-sport field, and they have been. It's been a from our perspective. There's been quite a few people to come through, and we've raised quite a bit of money for Sobe, and we're happy to do it. So thank you, ladies.
Awesome.
How are you connected, Claudia? What's your connection to Sobe?
I'm sorry?
What is your connection to Sobe?
Oh, my granddaughter's there.
Okay. Wow. You don't seem old enough to have a granddaughter.
Yes, she doesn't. I was surprised at that answer.
Thank you. Thank you. I got to do my grace, but thank you.
To do my grace. Well, me and my wife are barely in our 30s, and we have to do our grace too. So.
And with the pandemic.
That's wonderful. Well, we're all about getting started on time, and that's 2 minutes from now. We can talk about anything you ladies want to. Luke just joined us, and he's part of the Ovanova team. If you want to say, hey, Luke.
Hey, Luke.
How are y'all doing tonight? It's nice to meet y'all.
Thank you. Same here. How many people are supposed to be on today?
So we have 13 people registered, and you know how humanity is. About half of the folks actually show up, but we're grateful for everyone who does. Let's see here. I don't have, oh, there we go. Leslie. So came to support the band, Sun Lake High School band. Yeah.
This high school band.
How are you connected to the band, Leslie?
It's my niece, Isabella Byland. She's part of the band.
What does she play?
I think she plays a lot of instruments, but I think she's playing there the, what is it, like this? Is it this? No, it's not the saxophone. I think it's the violin or the clarinet. One of the two.
Oh, wow. It's amazing. It's hard enough to play one instrument, let alone be able to pick up multiple. So that's fantastic. Oh, here we go. Just on time. We have a bunch of people joining us. So let's see here. It's going to be a fun conversation tonight. Welcome. Everybody. 1 minute away from getting started. All right. So I'm going to begin screen sharing so that way we can all be on the same page. easiest fundraiser in the history of fundraisers, guys. All you have to do is turn on your camera, unmute yourself, and introduce yourself in just a minute. And $50 will go to the organization that you came here to support. So we wanted to make it really easy to support these community organizations. And it is 6 o'clock. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see here. And Leslie, if you see me mute you, it's just because there's a small amount of feedback. And so feel free to unmute and join the conversation at any point in time. It's just somewhat reverberating, but it's okay right now. It's not happening anymore. So if I mute you, it doesn't mean anything negative. It's not that I don't like you. It's just looking for clear communication. So hello, everybody. My name is John Carey. You are officially at an Ovanova solar exploration experience and fundraiser. So congratulations on making it. If there's one good thing about the pandemic, it's that it taught everybody to use Zoom. So we're so glad that you're here. This is the Ovanova team. I'm John. My partner, Lester, he's the other co-founder. We're hanging out with dinosaurs in this photograph. Is anybody not able to see the dinosaurs? So we're all...
Yep, we see it.
Fantastic. Cool. And we love feedback here. So thank you for the feedback. And Luke is on with us tonight. Thanks for being here, Luke. And Holly are the two fellow humans who actually prepared your gift that you guys received before tonight just for registering, which is a custom solar design. Did anybody here not see a custom solar design pop into their inbox over the last like 24 hours?
No,
Maybe.
I didn't.
Okay, Ileana, check spam quick just to see if it's in your spam box. Otherwise, maybe we have the wrong email. It might be off by a character or something like that. But just for registering, Luke and Holly zoomed in on your house. So we use this like super fancy software, and we zoomed in on your house, and we actually put solar panels on your home and figured out how many you needed to produce the amount of electricity you told us you used when you registered. So that should be in your inbox. If you didn't get it, go ahead and raise your hand, throw something in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get it over to you ASAP. So that's something. Okay, so Leslie, would you mind just shooting your email and a private message to Luke on the chat? And Luke will make sure that he gets it over to you. Thanks for letting us know. And Ileana, you as well?
I am looking up for it now.
Okay, it comes to spam often, so just check.
Okay, I see it. I just hadn't checked my email. It's
Cool.
your pre fundraiser solar design. Yeah, it's there.
Fantastic. Well, awesome. So that's just something we prepared for you guys. We hope you like it, and we're here to answer any questions if you want to. But as far as tonight's concerned, we just wanted to make it a really easy way to raise funds. Okay, and the way to do that is just to have your camera on and introduce yourself right now. So I'll start it off. It's just name, where you're at in the world, who you came here to support tonight, and just your best thoughts on why you think that more people aren't using solar energy. So again, I'm John Carey. I'm in Hillsborough, North Carolina. It's like the middle of the state near Raleigh and Durham and Chapel Hill. And so as a founder, I came here to support SoBay and the band and all the organizations you guys came here to support, and grateful to be here. And the reason I think more people aren't using solar is just because we're moving so fast and we're so busy, we haven't taken time to learn about it. But I'm curious about y'all's thoughts. So whoever introduces themselves gets to pick who goes next. So I'm going to pick Ken. Would you mind going next, Ken?
Ken, you're muted, man.
Oh,
Boom. You got it.
now you can hear me. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. So my name's Ken Aiello. I'm in Coral Springs, Florida, and I'm supporting Legacy 9U baseball.
Cool. How are you connected to Legacy?
My neighbor's kid.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
They went next door.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So anything I can do to help them.
Fantastic.
You had mentioned why aren't people using solar, right? That's what you want to
so.
know. So I don't know that answer. I can tell you why I haven't used it. And, the concern in Florida is always hurricanes, right? So a hurricane comes through, the panels fly off. What is it going to look like? Is the homeowners association going to like the way it looks? How does it work? I basically have all the questions that I'm sure that you're ready to answer or that other people have asked you. So that's what I can contribute.
Thank you, Ken. Who would you like to hear from next?
How about Leslie Diaz?
Hi, my name is Leslie Diaz. I am from Miami, Florida. I am here to support my niece's band in Sun Lake High School. And I think that the reason why a lot of people are not using solar panels because number one, yes, they're not educated on what it is. And also they find it a little bit expensive at the beginning. And I would like to choose Claudia Garces to go next.
Hello, I'm Claudia Garces. I'm in Miami, Florida, and I'm supporting Sobe. I think that people are not using solar already because they see you used to see it in the futuristic movies, and it was something that was not very accessible. And now that it is more common, I don't think they know even where to go look for this. And I don't think they realize it is something that's attainable at some point if you're willing to, do the work for it.
Thanks, Claudia. We're so glad you guys are here. And who would you like to hear from next?
Luke?
Luke.
Hey, I'm Luke. I'm part of Team Ovanova, but I'm currently living in Indianapolis right now. And just here to support the organizations y'all are here to support. And I'll pick David to go next.
Hey, I'm Dave Crandall in Land O'Lakes, Florida, just north of Tampa area. I'm here to support the Sea Cadets, the American Victory Division. And my son is a cadet in the organization. It's basically part of the Navy. And why I think solar is not really catching on is definitely price. So I'm an engineer, I'm a numbers cruncher. I know exactly what I'm going to spend, and the price really hasn't fit, especially the common person's budget. You see 40,000, let alone anything around that. You're not going to make that big leap, especially, it's still fairly new development, and they're improving them all the time. You see, Tesla, Elon Musk and whatnot are working on new solar methods. So I think it's both cost and where it is in the development stage.
Thank you. I love having engineers on here, David. I love engineer brains. They're my favorite.
Yeah.
So I super appreciate it. And maybe I can pick on you a little bit and we can have some dialogue associated with some of the things you brought up. But thank you for being here. Thanks for supporting the Sea Cadets. Is that Master Sergeant Will Robinson's group?
We're fairly new. So I talked to Sergeant Stewart. So it might be, since I don't know all the people yet, and I'm just getting to know them all. But I've been working with Stewart. So
we have 2 Sea Cadets groups using our service right now for ROTC, and they're 2 different sections, and I wasn't sure which group you were part of. But the American Victory, I'm pretty sure that's Master Sergeant Will Robinson. But again, thanks.
Yep, you're welcome.
Who would you like to hear from next, David?
See Ali. Ali's the first one I saw, so I'll pick on Ali.
Ali.
It's Allie.
Oh, it's Allie. Okay, that's not my fault. You did not have your video was not on. See, it's off again.
Do you know Allie?
No, I don't. But if I saw it was a female, I would have said Allie. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I've heard it before, and I'll hear it again.
I'm sure you will.
Uh-huh. I'm just here to support a friend's daughter who's in a band at Sun Lake from Lutz, Florida. I've been interested in, integrating solar energy into my homestead, but definitely price is an interference with that. Also, I think the public just doesn't really know too much about it, like a lack of education. So I'm interested to learn more.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being here. And hopefully we can learn some stuff tonight. And I know this is going to sound kind of crazy, but this is a truth. We've been at this for over 6 years, guys. And we work with schools and community organizations, and we wouldn't be able to do that if we were just spreading misinformation. But solar energy is actually less expensive, even if you chose to install it with no upfront cost. So if you like if you went into a Verizon store and you got an iPhone and you didn't pay anything for it and started paying monthly, that's how you can do solar. You can have it installed and activated on your home, and you can have a monthly payment that's actually less than your electricity bill. And that's very common. That's how my wife and I did it. So it's just, folks are so busy they haven't learned about it, or they're purchasing it through an organization that sells it for more than it has to be sold for. And that's one of those reasons why it actually could be more expensive. But we'll break that down. But it's great that you guys are, I love it when people are like, oh, one of the reasons I'm not doing it is price, because the truth is solar is actually less expensive than what you're currently doing. So that's always good news to hear. Allie, who would you like to hear from next?
I don't know who hasn't gone yet. Let me see. Is
help you out
Mike
there.
in?
Good call. Mike, Mr. Morrison. Oh, you're muted. I'm going to ask to unmute you, and something should pop up that makes it real easy. There you go.
All right. Now, I'm here to support my grandson's baseball team, Legacy in Margate, Florida. And to be honest with you, I don't know much at all about the solar. No knowledge.
Fantastic. What position does your grandson play?
All of them at his age. He plays basically shortstop.
Okay. Well, fantastic. Well, Mike, thank you for coming. Glad you're here. And there seems to be one person left that has not introduced themselves. Abdel de Armas. Would you guys like to go next? I figured I'll make it easy for you, Mike, in case you weren't following along there.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.
All right. Yeah, go Steve. I'm here to support my grandson, Matthew de Almas, for the Royal Academy Charter School, the band. And I don't know much about the solar panels, or they should, more educate people more about it. But I think they're kind of expensive. I would, definitely have to look into it.
Jake Francis merchandise, the Highland issue.
Cool. And is it Abdel? Is that how you say your name?
What?
Yeah, see, that's how you pronounce the name.
Yes, Olympia.
Oh my God.
Is my name? Yeah, yours.
Sorry. Okay. Like the problem is that we my dad's name is Abdel, but he couldn't make it, so I had to put my grandmother in the Zoom meeting. So
no problem. And your grandmother's name is Olympia?
Yes, my grandmother's name is Olympia, but here you see it as Abdel because that's my dad's name, but he's busy at work, so he couldn't really make it.
No problem. No, I just would prefer to call people by what they prefer to be called by. So I'm so glad you guys came tonight. So
do your presentation so we can learn something.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. So let's just be clear here, because most people, they just signed up for this to support their neighbor or their child's school. Most, the solar part, we just think is a bonus here. So if you guys came here just for the fundraising part and you see the cat, we're done with that. So that is all you had to do to generate the resources to support Legacy 9U or Sun Lake High School Band or ROTC. So thank you guys. We really do love supporting community organizations. It's not just a gimmick to sell people solar energy, okay? If you guys happen to use our service to go solar, then you guys get a good person discount because you won't pay sales commissions. We don't mark up labor and we don't mark up solar equipment, which is what makes it possible for you guys to actually save money month one going solar without putting anything up front. So we can talk about that stuff, but I just want to be real clear. The fundraising part's over with. We hope you guys hang out for the conversation where we address some of the things that you guys brought up, like HOAs and how solar works after dark or when it's cloudy or rainy, hurricanes. But it is not required. We're grateful you're here. We're happy to support the organizations that you guys came here to support. So the first gift, we just want to let you know, you definitely should have got a solar design in your email inbox and private message Luke if you haven't, your email, and he'll make sure that gets over to you. Tomorrow, because you guys actually showed up, 50% of the people that said that they would come tonight came, and you guys are 50%. You guys are those folks. So because you did, we're going to send you guys a more specific design that actually breaks down all the math for you. So David, you can actually see exactly how much the actual solar panels will cost in your design, how much the inverters will cost, how much the shipping is supposed to be. We actually have something called the Imperfect Information Fund, which is like basically money that's not earmarked for anything, just in case we run into maybe your electrical panel can't hold the voltage, so it needs to be upgraded. That money is returned to the homeowner if it's not needed, and you'll be able to see all of that information in this document. So it might seem overwhelming, but it's literally just our attempt to be radically transparent. We'll share with you how much we earn, how much the roofers and electricians get paid, how much it costs to manage the project. So it's all your information. You can have it. If you have any questions throughout the process, guys, there's a link on every page. You can click it, pick a day and a time. Very simply, it automatically lines up with our calendar, and it will actually let you know exactly when we're available to have a one-on-one Zoom follow-up where we can actually zoom in on your house and you can go, you know what, John, I want the solar panels back here on the garage. What would that look like? No problem. Here's a design where we were able to put 16 panels on the garage and less panels on the house. Or you know what, John, I want them in the front yard on the ground. I don't want them on the house. So we can modify it any way that you want. Just wanted to let you know that if you get another email from us tomorrow, it's just going to be a more specific spreadsheet that breaks everything down for you, including battery options, which a lot of people like to see. So again, thanks for being here. We're going to jump into the conversation now. This is just really a community sourced conversation to help folks get a better understanding of solar energy. So if you have a question, just know that it'll be a service to the people on this Zoom if you raise your hand and ask, or if you don't raise your hand and just blurt it out, it's even better, okay? So because most people are probably thinking it as well. I saw price expensive a few times here. So if you guys are all right with it, I'd just like to address the mathematics associated with solar first, if that's okay with y'all. And David, would you mind if I choose you just for the kind of the dialogue for this?
That's fine.
Okay, it's just nice to have one person that's willing to be unmuted and answer rhetorical questions, or maybe not rhetorical questions. So cool, man. Appreciate it. So when you registered, what did you say your average electricity cost was?
It was 220 or between 220 and 240. I can't remember what I put. That's about what it is.
Okay.
I think it was 220 if I could look it up.
For simple math, let's just choose 200 if that's okay, because I know that I know an engineer can handle this mentally. So if you were to, do you and your family ever plan on getting rid of your refrigerator?
No.
Okay, so it's like we're all pretty committed to using electricity and wanting a fridge and wanting lights, right? So you guys can be aware that this really isn't a sales conversation because you guys are going to buy electricity no matter what. But the question is, how much are you going to spend on it, right? And so, David, if you decided to continue doing what you're doing for the next 12 months, how much would you pay your utility company, assuming it was $200 a month for the next year?
This is what 20, yeah. That's about that 2,400. Right?
Yeah, so
you're killing me.
Totally. So Claudia, Ken, Ileana, Leslie, For you guys, y'all's number, Allie, y'all's number is maybe a little different, but for most folks, $200 is pretty average. Same thing for my wife and I. That's $2,400 in a year that we're paying to our utility company. And at the end of the year, there's nothing to show for it. And we would look at that like rent, right? Now, David, what if you did that for a decade? What would that number be then?
You just put another zero in there, so 24,000.
So that's after 10 years, assuming that your utility company doesn't raise the rates, that's 24,000. And then after 20 years, 48,000, et cetera, right? So during the warranty of a solar period, during the time frame that during the warranty on a solar panel, which is 25 years, you will have given the utility company $60,000. So that's what this graph is showing. We just want to help people understand solar energy from a financial perspective without any like inflated, making it look better than it is. Because if we were trying to inflate it, we would build in the cost of utility rate escalation. Just like gas and bread goes up over 25 years, so do utility rates. But assuming that they didn't, you would spend $60,000 keeping your fridge cold and your lights on. So, and not be a single day closer to paying off your electricity bill. Your solar panels are going to cost usually a little bit less than half of that. During the warranty period, you would spend half as much on your solar as you would paying the utility company, and you would actually own your solar panels. So when people ask about solar and its financial benefits, it's a really challenging conversation because it's a paradigm shift. Previously, people were going to just be paying their electricity bill until the day they died. And now you can actually get rid of your electricity costs. So, and then there's all these incentives depending on where you live in the country. But if you're an American and you pay taxes, then there's a 26% federal tax credit that actually comes off of the bottom line of your total system cost. So in actuality, this person is generating almost $40,000 worth of electricity for 14 grand. So David, we couldn't think of a reason why anybody would rather pay 40 grand over 14 grand, except for maybe the fact that they thought they had to have that 20 grand up front in order to access solar energy. So would you believe as like a person who's lived in the world and it's 2021 that you'd be able to access solar energy, have it installed and activated without any money up front?
Well, no, I mean, there's always a way. So I mean, yeah, I bought my first house. I bought many years ago. I bought with nothing down. So
yeah, that's how I got my Prius. That's how I got my iPhone. So you know that it's possible, right?
Right.
And that's how most people choose to go solar. And if your solar is installed and activated and generating electricity, if you're generating your electrical needs at your house, what does that mean you don't have to do with the utility company anymore?
Well, it's rhetorical, right? You're not paying them anything. So.
Yeah. So this is what kind of is. It sounds too good to be true, but I mean, please ask some questions and shoot some holes in this, because Dave, this is why we designed Ovanova, is because we want to live in a world that makes sense, and most of our fellow humans are paying more to rent their electricity than they would be to own solar equipment that they could pay off, that increases the value of their property and would cause it to be more marketable if they wanted to sell it. So like, for instance, let's see here. So for you, David, your design that we sent over would produce 101% of your energy needs, not 102. And you would be saving $39.91 a month if you put zero down. If you didn't, like if you paid cash, you'd save way more. But if you put zero down, you'd be spending almost $40 less each month paying yourself to own solar equipment rather than paying the utility company. So please ask some questions about that. But
so my plan, just if we're going to speak about my plan, says the initial monthly payment is the 180, but then the final 251, payments is 243. So that's about, you just say what the electricity costs today. Now, in some cases, I get what you're saying, you know, after those, that's a 21-year loan, of course. So after 21 years, I'm saving money. But in my case, let's just take my case. I had four children. I have a 6-bedroom home. Within a few years, my son's going to be off to college, kind of empty house. We're most likely going to fix this up and sell it within 5 to 6, 7 years, say. So that might be another issue is people, you know, longevity. How long are they going to be in the current residence? So now, of course, it probably raises the value of the home. I understand that, and it might even be a selling point. But I don't think you'll get the bang for your buck within 5 to 7 years.
So, you know, you don't have to take my word for it. Just use good old Google, and good old Google will show you that there's probably 30 or 40 different sources from Zillow to Berkeley Lab studies that will show you that your home value will go up and your house will sell faster, and you will get the bang for your buck. Matter of fact, you know, it's weird, but people will live in their house for 20 years, never paint it or put new floors in there. And then right before they sell, they'll paint the house, redo the floors, spiff it all up because you get a return on your investment by doing that. Just like if you put your house on the market and you went to sell it, if somebody were to buy your home, they're wrapping in their electricity bill into their mortgage. They're not going to have a solar payment. They're just going to have a mortgage, because even if you owe 10 grand on your solar panel still, you're just going to use the sale of your house to pay off your solar note. Just like if you owed $50,000 on your home, you would use the sale of your home to pay off the rest of your mortgage. So this person's wrapping in their electrical bill into, but I don't want to skip over something you said earlier. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish your thought.
Well, you brought up something real that I think a lot of folks may not be privy to, which is, so this is also the 21-year loan, David. Mm-hmm. But when you bought your house, did you choose 30 or 15 years?
15.
Okay. And there's, I don't want to, you know, just make an assumption, but why did you choose to pay it off in half the time?
Oh, it's a lot. Lower interest, quicker payment, less, a lot less to the bank and more in my pocket.
Yeah, man, you saved a bunch of money in financing costs because you chose to pay it off faster. And I'm not saying that you should choose a 21-year loan by any means. You could pay it in cash. You could choose 5 years all the way to 25 if you wanted. But most people are never going to pay off their electricity bill, and they love the idea of seeing day one savings.
Right.
And so from a logical perspective, I know it's difficult to grasp because there's still the unknowns of, like, what about a hurricane? What if they're damaged? What about after dark? There's so many unknowns because of the lack of knowledge of the industry and of the equipment that it leads people to just stop thinking expensive, which the reality is your electricity bill is expensive because it's going to be 60 grand over 25 years and you're not going to ever pay it off. Whereas in this case, you could actually pay less money each month. And it's like, you guys own your homes. Why in the world would you rent your electricity? Especially knowing that the return on your investment is the day that it's installed, because it increases the value of your property more than it costs to install it. People always ask us, what's the ROI on solar? And then I just ask them back. I'm like, hey, David, what's the ROI on your electricity bill? So, right. So we're just really, and this probably makes sense, but just if we're sticking with, we love sticking with the math because the math makes sense. But if we just stick with logic, technology changes and it just doesn't make sense to do certain things anymore. When's the last time you took a horse into town to get your groceries? Like it's just, nobody's carrying around these boom boxes and camcorders anymore because it's all in our iPhone.
And you gotta be careful with that. It's the catch-22 though, because the same thing can be said for solar panels. So in 5-10 years, when someone else comes out with a better cell device that pulls in more energy from the sun, now I have to replace mine. I can get, where is it at, this developmental curve?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I kind of feel bad for a lot of the engineers who go through this, because it might be a little bit of analysis paralysis.
Yeah, it is.
But let me just ask you this: do you know how long solar panels have been around?
Not really. I know they've been there for a while. I mean, well, we've had calculators back in grade school that were technically solar power.
Yeah, they were actually invented by Bell Labs back in 1954.
Okay.
So 67 years we've had solar technology, and the first solar cells that were put into play are actually still working to this day. So I'm sure as an engineer, you could probably connect with the fact that something that's made mostly of sand and then set in place, it doesn't really have any way that it would break, right? There's no moving parts. It's not like you have to do it's not like a windmill that turns all the time. It just sits still. So it kind of makes sense how the first ones are working 67 years later, and how we could put a 25-year warranty on something that's essentially a pet rock, right? It just chills. But your point was this: you're saying, John, look, be careful talking about technology advancing, because I might get solar and then 5 years from now there might be a way better way to do it. Well, here's my answer to that. First of all, you don't need a more efficient solar panel, because the ones that we already have produce more than the energy that you currently need. So there's just every month that you wait on a new technology to show up is another month you pay the utility company rent when you could have been paying yourself to own your panels. All the people that thought 10 years ago, all right, let me just go ahead and do the solar, they already own their equipment and they're not paying an electricity bill. And so I hear what you're saying, but a more advanced solar panel wouldn't really help anybody, because as long as you can get 100% of the energy that you need, and it's less than what you're currently doing, every month that goes by is a month that you're costing yourself money by not adopting the technology.
True. But I mean, anything could be improved. Less cell space, less real estate on top of your house, lower cost. Who knows? In 10 years from now, this might cost $10,000 and take up a tenth of the space. Just
You're doing great. David, please come back. This is why I chose you, and I appreciate you being who you are. It's fantastic. You are helping the folks who have decided to stick around for the conversation. And Leslie, Allie, can come in and just really, there's nothing that you guys could possibly say that I'm not excited to hear. And this isn't about being right. This is just about living in a world where we're not getting our electricity in a way that does not make sense. And I could tell you that we did this for 6 years, David, and we recently stopped, but we would ask people at the beginning of these things, does anybody know how we currently generate electricity? And it's amazing, but it would be so rare to have somebody on the call that could explain how we take a black rock of coal or a nuclear energy and turn it into an electron that makes it to your home. Like, it's so uncommon. But all I'm saying is you could just imagine how much more sense it makes to make a solar panel one time from mainly silicon, and then it runs off free sunshine and it's installed one time, and it's very, very, it makes so much sense that would be so much less expensive than sending people to work every single day to blow up mountains, transport coal, work at a power plant, maintain a facility with thousands of moving parts, fix the power lines, blah, 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 blah. It's antiquated, and it's just not the way things are going to go. But I kind of got wordy there. But remember when you mentioned a cell that's more efficient, where you have more real estate on your roof? So this might, again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but solar panels are more, they can be like a designer item. Here's a bifacial panel for y'all Floridians down there. This is a solar pergola, and it allows light to actually pass through the equipment, reflect off whatever surface is underneath, and make more electricity on the backside. And this is what solar panels used to look like, right? These silver things. We haven't had a customer in 6 years ever get one of these. Everybody's equipment looks like this. It's all black. It's super low profile to the roof. But this gentleman lives in Texas, and he probably wishes that his solar equipment wasn't as efficient as it was, because that way he could have covered more of his roof. And the equipment shields his shingles from getting destroyed by the sunshine. I mean, that's what makes you have to replace your roof after 30 years is direct sunshine just beating down on your roof, not to mention this air gap in between the panels and the roof that actually makes it so you almost have a shade tree. A lot of people won't cut their trees because they want that shade because it saves them on their air conditioning bills. But man, there's a massive amount of heat broken from those panels being there. So if you just had to have this little square on your roof, you might not get that hard hat. And these things are hail rated. So you'll see, you can look up, you can say, hey, what happens if my solar panels get hit by hail? You might pull up some news articles from Denver where there's a neighborhoods nearby where there's a bunch of roof salespeople going by trying to collect insurance money, replacing people's roofs, and the nearby solar farms have one damaged panel out of 10,000. So it's just one of those things where we got to take time to explore, but folks are just super busy. I mean, you got a big family, David. It makes sense why you might not have taken the time to really invest in this exploration journey. Not to mention, most people hear about solar through salespeople, and nobody likes to deal with salespeople. So what else comes up for you guys? Ken, Allie, David, Leslie, what kind of things are you guys curious about?
If I could add a few more things real quick, I'll just throw them all out there and then I'll let everyone else go too. So you brought up the roof. How does this impact insurance? How about longevity? I know you said they're tough, they last, but how long do they last? And how about maintenance? What type of maintenance do they require? Is there any cleanup? There's a lot of pollen in the air. Do you have to wipe them off? So maintenance, and how does it affect your homeowner's insurance and longevity?
Okay, so I'll hit those quick and then ask me if it's not clear. So maintenance, there is absolutely zero maintenance. If you live on a gravel road, you may want to spray them off with a hose every once in a while just because of the dust. There's so much pollen in the air in North Carolina right now, David. It's hard to breathe. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I have to take water with me everywhere just so I can wet my throat. And I can show you, check this out. I have an app, and you will too, where you can actually, it shows, this is my app. This is for my house. And you can see, let me pause this real quick. Hold on. So it's going to show you like how much you're producing real time from your solar panels, how much you're selling back to the utility company or buying from the utility company real time, how much you're using in your home real time. And then if you chose a battery, which you don't have to choose a battery, they're not necessary at all, what your percentage of your battery is at. So to answer your question about pollen and things like that, I paid real, this is like the first full year I've had my equipment activated. I live in a geodesic dome, and my HOA was a pain in the butt. So it took me a while to get it all set up, and I had to build a solar carport because I couldn't put panels on a circular structure. But what this is showing is I'm able to actually see how much the pollen is affecting my panels. And then after a rain, I'm able to look at it the next day and go, oh, cool, here's the difference. And it's really shows you the weather. You can actually see your investment return rate. If you set the numbers in here properly based on what you paid for it, it'll actually keep up with you and let you know when you've actually paid
it off the system. Yeah.
Right. Again, but we don't even like talking about ROI in that way because you're renting electricity. It doesn't really, it's like apples to oranges as far as a comparison, but you can look at it however you want to. We're about helping people understand the reality of the situation, which is you're always going to buy electricity. The most expensive thing for everybody on this call when it comes to solar is all the months it takes before your system's activated, because all that money's just going to the utility company where you could have been paying down your equipment. So even if you shopped around and got 16 quotes from other companies and found somebody who's $3,000 less, you could have paid the utility $3,000 between now and then, But we don't, we do our best to come to people with an absolutely disruptive rate, getting rid of all the sales costs and marketing and advertising and marked up equipment. So it becomes a no-brainer for people. So it's just like, oh, wow. And we had to start showing people all these numbers so you guys could actually see that just because we're like, in some cases 30 grand less expensive than another quote you might get, it has nothing to do with you getting like a contractor who's not capable of doing great work or crappy equipment, because that's what we think, right? As a human, if you're shopping on Amazon and you see a product that's $100 and all the other ones are right around that, and you see one for 30, you're like, I'm not getting the $30 product because it's not quality, especially as a homeowner putting something on your roof that is going to cost you, it doesn't matter how much it is. I want quality stuff personally. So we want to show people, look, you're getting tier 1 equipment with 25-year warranties. You're getting licensed, bonded, and insured contractors. And matter of fact, if you have a contractor you would rather work with, here's exactly what's in the budget to pay them. And you could actually do the work yourself if you wanted. So all the steps for going solar are on your 3rd page of the checklist. You can actually do it yourself if you want. We don't care if you talked with us for 6 months and chose to go solar with another company. Just continue your solar exploration journey and make the transition. It logically makes sense. You won't regret it. Continue to explore. So that was the first thing I'd say is, as far as maintenance and pollen and things like that, just know that you'll have an app. If there's any damage to any of your equipment, your app will let you know. We had like a small branch with a bunch of leaves fall on one of our customers' panels, and he called us immediately because we're awesome and we love it when people let us help them. And we were like, all right, well, before we call the manufacturer and get this fixing situation underway, let's take a look at, can you like climb up there? And so this dude's cool. He's happy to climb up there, and he just found that there was a little branch in his leaves, and he took it off and everything was fixed. But his situation was so sensitive, and I'm sure a heavy wind would have blown that off for him. But he takes a look at his app like I do, like 2 or 3 times a day, because it's so cool. And so you'll be able to know if there's something going on. And if you wanted to hose the pollen off before the rain did, you're more than welcome to, David. And then as far as
I have a 2-story home, and it's way up there. So.
Okay, yeah, I don't. I just wait for it to rain. Yeah. There isn't enough data to show whether or not it makes sense to have panel cleaning services. It's not common. I was at a big meeting earlier this year where they were actually collecting data to see if it was worth it to pay a service like $60 2 times a year to have somebody come by and like use like a squeegee on your panels.
Right.
But in our software program, this software program that we use to build your design, it actually factors in dirt and degradation over the course of the 25 years. So your warranty is not a warranty that says your panels will work for 25 years. It actually is a production warranty. So it guarantees a certain amount of production over 25 years, saying that depending on the module you get, your system will be 80 to 92% as good as it was the day it was new after 25 years. That's pretty cool. So either way, and you can see our system actually calculates in shading. So it's one of those things where it looks at the sun's path over the, this is a bad example because it's in the mountains and we don't have shading data, but yeah, so it looks at the sun's path over 12 months and actually is able to track and see which trees get in the way and exactly how much sun each solar panel gets, which is how we know how many you'll need to produce the amount of electricity that you need. So, homeowners insurance, if you were like, John, let's do it, then I would send you this. It's actually in your template you're going to get tomorrow. On the project timeline and checklist, step number 5, after you figure out what equipment you want, you'll actually click this blue link and it'll bring up these photographs, and you just basically copy the photographs, take a picture of your electrical panel. That way we know if it can hold the voltage, right? Is it a 200 amp service? Is it a 150 amp service? Your main breaker, take a picture of the area surrounding your utility panel so we know what kind of work situation we'll be looking at. Take a picture of your circuit directory so we can see if you have electric heating or if you have electric hot water, all that stuff. It allows us to serve you better by understanding what your loads are. And it's just photographs. We can make it mean a lot, might not mean a lot to you. Electric meter and the area around your electric meter, your attic space, the rafter depth. So do you have 2x4s or do you have 2x6s? Are they 24 inches apart or are they 16 inches apart? This will let us know how many pounds per square foot your roof can safely hold. It doesn't matter in Florida because in Florida, the engineering is the weight of solar panels doesn't get anywhere close.
Oh no, yeah, our roofs are built to withstand everything. So.
Oh yeah, but what matters in Florida is wind speed for hurricanes. Mm-hmm. So when you pull a permit in Florida, and there actually is an increased amount of attachment points on the roof to be able to withstand higher wind speeds, where up north where there's snow, that's when you need that structural stamp to say, okay, you can hold the weight of these solar panels and the weight of snow on top of it. And we are able to do all of that from you taking these photographs. And then there's also a photograph of your homeowner's insurance declarations page so we can make sure that you're covered properly with your insurances. So the answer to your, I know I'm going about answering this in a long way, but I feel like engineers value the information. And if it's too much, then I apologize. But some utility companies will actually require you to raise your homeowner's insurance liability coverage depending on how many panels you install. You're looking at maybe raising it from $30 to $150 a year. And in most cases, that doesn't even eat away at the savings you're receiving by going solar. And again, you're paying yourself an ownership payment rather than paying rent. So, if you went from paying $800 to rent an apartment to paying $1,000 to own a home, that might be okay, right? And so that's kind of the thought process we're trying to help our fellow humans see here, which is, for most of you guys, you're losing money by not paying yourself to own your solar panels. But for people that have a little bit of shade, or people who, because if you have some tree shading, it doesn't mean you can't go solar. It just means you need more equipment to produce the same amount of electricity. And so it's going to cost you a little bit more, and you might not save money day one, but you're still paying yourself to own something that you can pay off. But so typically you don't have to change your homeowner's insurance at all, David, but it is possible that you would. And that happens like less than 10% of the time. And we would be able to let you know that based on the photo that you sent us. So hopefully that was helpful with that. And then what was the other thing you mentioned?
No, I think you got everything. It was just longevity was the other one. Just, how do they truly, withstand the test of time? But it sounds like they do. You're talking about hailstorms and.
Yeah, and how much a solar panel costs if one were to be damaged and you didn't want to, if a storm came and knocked a tree over on your house, your homeowner's insurance will cover your panels. That's what it's for. But you can see that a solar panel is like $120 to $150, depending on which one you choose. They're not expensive per panel. It is the real cost associated with it is the panels, the inverters, the equipment to mount it to your roof so it doesn't blow away in a hurricane, shipping it there, paying paying to have it interconnected with your utility company, paying for the engineered drawings, paying for the permits, paying for the roofers and the electricians to put it up. And then we show you exactly how much we earn for our fundraising service. And this is sometimes less, but usually about equal to what the salesperson earns if you go solar. And it's our entire fundraising service. And it allows us to continue to make donations and run these Zoom experiences and send out a bunch of solar designs to people. And we're really proud of this. And it drops the cost of people going solar significantly because it's the total soft cost involved, as opposed to the salesperson, the company that hired the salesperson, the marketing, the building that they meet at to have sales meetings, the sales prizes. I mean, I used to do it. I know we want the world to go solar. We don't want to make as much money as we possibly can by selling as much solar as we possibly can. So, but yes, thank you for those questions and continue to ask them. Did anything come up for you guys? I was going to ask, does anybody here know, this is kind of an important question, how solar works when the sun isn't shining?
doesn't it stores that heat, that electricity?
So that is the most common answer, Leslie, and it's what I believed before I started diving into this. But I'll show you. Actually, heat is not a good thing for solar panels. Any electronics like your computer, they don't like to be warm. And when solar panels get over 77 degrees, they actually start to get less efficient. So your panels will make more electricity on a 20-degree clear day than they will on a 100-degree clear day. And they actually don't store any electricity at all. How it works is like this. So imagine this is your house and you have some solar panels. During the day, your solar panels will produce enough electricity to feed your home and then some. So solar panels generate a lot of electricity when the sun is shining. And so it's going to be more than you can use. So you get this new meter, or if you already have a smart meter, it gets programmed so it can actually count bidirectionally. So you're not just consuming electricity and paying for it, you're actually producing it and selling it to your power company. It goes back onto the power lines. So you're still connected to the utility company like you've always been. So Leslie, you will not have to worry about ever running out of electricity. You won't have to worry about your lights flickering on cloudy days or anything like that. Your electricity will be exactly as reliable as it has always been. The only difference is now you're a producer as well, and you're selling electricity back to the utility company. And Leslie, the reason they're willing to buy it from you is because it costs them less to buy it from you at your house and sell it to your closest neighbors than it does to generate it at the power plant really far away and send it all the way down the power lines to your neighbors. So they get to win because they don't have to lose a bunch of electricity transmitting it to your neighbor's house. And you get to win because you don't have to invest in a battery, because after dark, when your panels are not producing any electricity, you just get to use the credits that you produced during the day to power your home when the sun's not out. So here's a simple example of what your electricity bill could look like if you were to go solar. So you'll see this month, the homeowner was owed $15 by the utility company. And the reason is because after dark, they bought $92 worth of electricity, but during the day, they created $107 worth of electricity. So the electricity company actually owed them money at the end of the month. Now, this is the same person. Do you see the $15.26? So the next month, the electricity company owed them $41.74, and the next month, $24. But the month after, they owed the electricity company $1.43. So it's very possible that because of weather, or because maybe you had a bunch of family members over taking hot showers, that your solar does not produce enough electricity to provide all of your energy needs. And that could happen just in a 2-week or a 2-month period. But the way that you're, let me just make sure, Leslie, you have Florida Power and Light. Yep, that's how every utility company will pay you a different amount for your electricity. But FPL is very fair, and they'll pay you exactly what they charge you. So, and the way they work is they'll actually let you build credits up during the months when the sun is super high in the sky and there's a long day, and let you use those credits in the winter time when the sun is low in the sky and there's not a lot of light and the days are shorter. So you can see the months where the solar is producing more than the homeowner needs, and then there's months where the homeowner is needing more than the solar is producing. And that's how you can get rid of your electricity bill, is by producing 100% of your yearly needs, and it offsets the months where you don't produce enough. The credits make up for the times when you don't produce enough with your solar. Now, the one thing to be clear about is there will still be a cost to stay connected to the power lines, like a customer charge. It's basically you going, FPL, I'm going to contribute to maintaining the power lines because I benefit from them still. And so I believe Florida Power and Light's monthly customer charge is $8.34. So that would be how much you would still pay if you got 102% or 100%. And it looks like, Leslie, we designed a solar array for you that's 100% of your electricity needs. And it looks like if you paid zero down and you chose the expensive financing, it's like a 30-year mortgage over a 15-year mortgage, which you would still, without spending anything out of pocket, save $3.70 a month. Allie, we produced a design for you that's 102% of your current needs, and it looks like zero down, you would save $15.43. Ken, we produced a design for you that's 101% of your needs, and it would save you $54.90 a month, because the more electricity that you use, the more you save. So either way, that is the truth about solar energy. It's not the case for everybody. If you guys got a quote from a local company, I'm not saying that you're going to save money day one, because I don't know what they're going to charge you in total for your system. But based on our pricing, which is what's called a worst case scenario price, meaning that the number that you got from us, it will definitely not be more than that. But 99% of the time, we're offering a cash rebate when the job is done. And there's always this imperfect information fund in there. So there's usually like $1,000 to $2,000 or $3,000 built in just in case. That usually comes back to our homeowners, and they like it. They're like, oh, cool, a $2,000 check. You can apply that to your loan and knock the payments down, or you can get a jet ski. I don't know what's important to you guys, but you can put it in a kid's college fund. You could donate it to the band or to the ROTC program, because you wouldn't have saved that money if you wouldn't have been introduced to it through them. But either way, the one thing that we want to be clear on is you guys are going to buy electricity for the rest of your lives. You could choose to rent it from the utility company and be subject to whatever rate increases they choose to give you. And also, you're contributing to that process, which, if you don't know how we currently generate electricity, please look it up. But most of our energy comes from boiling water to make steam, to spin a turbine, to spin magnets a couple hundred miles from where you live. And we boil the water by burning things like coal and natural gas, or using a nuclear reaction to create heat to boil water. We've been using steam for hundreds of years. It's time that we move on to a new technology that we've really had for 67 years that's less expensive, better for everybody, and it allows you to produce energy on site where you live rather than rely on the power lines to be able to deliver it from a couple hundred miles away. So if you are into energy resiliency, you should get a battery. That's also in your template, and you'll be able to see what it's like to not only be able to generate electricity, but to be able to store electricity at your house. So we just talked about how it works after the sun goes down. Does anybody have any questions about the kind of the science behind how solar works and what it would be like if it's cloudy or rainy? Is everybody pretty clear that they're connected to the utility grid and that works like it always has? No questions, guys? I'm glad you're here. I know I'm talking a lot. There's the more that you learn about solar, the more you're going to go, wow, that makes sense. You're not going to hear anything that's like, oh, that's what they were hiding. If there is something, this would be it. I'll share with you guys the one thing that when I learned it, it made me really wonder why so many solar companies do what they do. But if you guys bought solar panels, like David, if you bought solar panels today, and then there was a hurricane that came through and knocked out the power lines and the grid wasn't active, if you didn't have a battery, which 90% of people don't get batteries, your solar panels wouldn't work at all. So it could be beautifully sunny after the hurricane, but if the grid is down, your panels are down. Any idea why? Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
No, I got it. Sorry about that. Yes, I thought I unmuted. I guess, like you said, it was in a loop before, right? But I don't know how that works. You say this is a different
so
power
you could have
company.
spent you could have
Go
spent 30 grand. Your power company, Steve, let me just look real quick. Why am I not?
With Lagucci. With Lagucci River.
Oh, you're with Lagucci. Yeah. We know Tammy over at With Lagucci. So the deal is you could have spent 30 grand on your solar panels and then they'd be completely inactive and unable to be used after the hurricane because of this one thing. Because if you don't have power from the utility company, what do you hope that the power company is doing immediately?
Not charging me. No.
Well, if they're not delivering,
if there's an outage, they're correcting the issue. But
yeah, you're hoping that they're out there rectifying the lines that are broken, right?
Right.
And remember what happens during the day when it's sunny with your excess electricity? Where does it go?
Back to them.
Back out on the line. So if there's a dude up here trying to fix this broken line and you're producing electricity, you could injure that man.
Mm-hmm.
So your solar has safety equipment built in that if it loses grid signal, it shuts down. So if you want to be able to access power even when no one else has it, that's when a battery is necessary. And that's the main reason. So what that would do is it would allow you to open a circuit to the utility grid and become a microgrid. And you would produce electricity during the day in excess. It would power your home. The excess would go into your battery. And then after dark, you would be able to operate off your battery. And then when the sun came back up, it would power your home and recharge your battery. So you could power your entire home if you wanted to, which costs quite a bit. Or you can power what's called like a critical load panel, where you pick like a refrigerator and a bunch of lights and some outlets, and you make sure, like most folks have generators hooked up.
Right, like a generator.
Yep, totally. A battery is just a super advanced generator. It doesn't require fuel other than sunshine. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't have 1,000 moving parts. It doesn't need oil changes. It doesn't need a battery to even start it. It doesn't have fuel that you have to go get, which in a lot of times when the power's out, the gas pumps aren't pumping gas anyway. So, it creates a little bit of trouble depending on the fuel for your generator. But so yeah, it's just a really intelligent way to be able to keep the lights on without a bunch of maintenance. The warranties on the batteries that we use are 11 years if you use the battery every day, but it's based on cycles, not years. So if you're not, very rarely do people use their generators every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your batteries last a long time, and you'll be able to see on your template, if you click battery options, you'll be able to see the pricing for that. You'll be able to see the option that we chose, which is called a Solarc. It's a military grade inverter. They compare it against the Tesla Powerwall and the Generac and all the other battery options on the market. And then you can see exactly how much it would cost to get different size battery banks. And again, we don't mark anything up, so all your pricing is dealer pricing. And we earn the money that we earn from our transparent fee that you see on the spreadsheet that you're going to get tomorrow. So you'll be able to see exactly how many more solar exploration experiences that you would be funding if you chose to go solar and save money. So again, I know I am circumloquacious, and I'm super grateful that you guys have been paying attention as long as you have. Thank you for your participation tonight, David.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I'm getting called by my wife. It is dinner time, so.
Okay, well, tell Miss Crandall that we're grateful for your time, and thank you for borrowing David tonight, Miss Crandall.
I'll let her know.
Thanks for supporting the Sea Cadets. Happy Wednesday. You'll get that email. Please reach out and use this as a resource. We just want the world to know. Sunshine's free. Take it easy, David.
All right, thanks. Have a great evening. All right, bye.
Yes, sir. Ken, Allie, anything? Can we be helpful in any way? You're muted. I'd love to hear what you're saying.
That was very informative. Thank you.
You're super welcome. What's on the wall behind you?
Oh, that's a cow skull.
Did you create that?
It's a cow skull with some fake white roses that my daughter put on it. It was my mom's. She was a cowgirl.
She was a cowgirl. Well, Thank you for coming, Ellie. Super grateful. And you know, I know life is busy, but please like tug on these threads and really unravel this mystery of what solar is, because you know, you don't use a boombox to jam out, right? You put your earbuds in and play it off your iPhone. You know, technology advances, certain things just don't make sense anymore. I doubt you're going to pick up your groceries on a horse going into town. My wife and I get ours delivered to the front door now because of the pandemic, you know? So it's like times change, stuff adapts. There's no reason to set stuff on fire to boil water to generate electricity, and it is less expensive for you today to be able to use sunshine. So let us know how we can be helpful, and thanks for coming.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Of course. Thank you. Ken, you're still here. We just want to be as helpful as possible. Your box is lighting up yellow. So I don't know if that's you trying to communicate to us, but I'm going to ask to start video maybe, and I don't know if you're muted or not. Hey, Luke, am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay, I was like, maybe I'm frozen.
No, you've been communicating clearly this whole time.
That's always nice. Yeah, I love having an engineer on the call because they'll just ask all the stuff that people would love to ask, you know?
Yeah, the other guy was cool.
Yeah, David is great. Well, Ken, if you can hear me, this is my last ditch effort to communicate something cool to Ken. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it. And it doesn't matter if people have kids or don't have kids. Life is super duper busy. And so when you get your email with your quote, just go ahead and click and schedule a time to meet back with us. So that way we can get your solar design perfect, because all of your numbers are based on a guess that you made about your monthly usage. And most people are off by 10 or 15 bucks a month. And that changes your price by maybe $2,000 or $3,000. So, you know, use our service, click a link, schedule a time, we'll zoom in on your house and we'll get your design perfect so you can know exactly how much you will be saving or how much you're losing right now by not using free sunshine to turn your lights on and keep your fridge cold. So I'm going to end it now just because I'm not sure if you're even here with us anymore. But thanks for being here, Luke. Did you get messages from folks that didn't get designs? And did you?
No, I believe I would have to be a host for that to happen. So I didn't get any messages. No.
Okay, well, so here I'll text you, Leslie. Did you see? Oh, she direct messaged it to me as why. Okay, yep. So this is Leslie's email, and then who else? It was Leslie, and who else raised their hand?
Not
that
Claudia.
said it was one person.
Let me look at this spreadsheet real quick.
Yeah, Luke. Wow, Luke, you didn't text me since yesterday.
That's crazy.
I know, it's been a while. Okay, cool. And there was one other person.
So let's see. So Leslie's here, and then was it Ileana? No, because she was talking.
Yeah.
Before, was it Ileana?
I think it was she found it in her. She said she hadn't checked her email, so she found it. So maybe it was just one person.
Okay, I'll update this information for. It was Leslie, correct?
Correct. I just texted you her email, so.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh yeah. No, that was.
Yeah, it's the exact email. I'll send it again. I'll send the proposal again real quick.
Okay. Maybe shoot her a text and just ask if she got it. But.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thanks for being here, Luke. See ya. Are you coming to the 8 or is it Trey or Holly?
Yeah, I'll be on at 8.